Hey guys, it's model making time, and today we're looking at the Gannet. Airfix have just released their 1/48 scale Fairy Gannet, and it looks beautiful with its unique double folding wing structure. It's a really unique and interesting aircraft, and one that many modelers want to make. However, there's one issue. What if you don't build 1/48 scale? I don't have the space for it, and I don't really feel comfortable doing that scale. And so instead, I've looked at the 1/72 scale alternatives that are available at the moment. There's quite a few different model kits available, and there is one I have omitted from this set as well. That's the Trumpeter kit, mainly because it's in the same price range as one of the other kits we're going to be looking at today, and I chose the one that has the better overall performance. We're also going to have a wildcard at the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned for that because it's a bit different to what you might expect for a Gannet video. So we'll be looking at 3 different Gannet kits today. The first one is the Cheap and Cheerful. This one's from Eastern Express, a former Frog kit. The next one is going to be from Revell, the one that sort of won out against the Trumpeter kit for many reasons. And the third one is from Sword. This one is the AEW version of the Gannet, but I thought it was worth having a look because it's, again, another niche of the Gannet that a lot of people want to have a look at. And as I say, there's a wildcard at the end of the video, so you'll have to sort of watch through to make sure you get to that. I guess we should go and have a look at our first kit then. So this is the Cheap and Cheerful kit, the Eastern Express printing of the Frog Fairy Gannet. I've perhaps been misleading in saying this was the Cheap and Cheerful. Perhaps cheap and challenging would have been more appropriate. This boxing was stupidly cheap, at something like £8. It's the cheapest kit for the Gannet around, at about 50% of the cost of the other kits we'll be looking at today. Eastern Express tend to be a collection of other brands, for example, ex-Frog kits, and unsurprisingly this is another in that series dating back to 1956. So yeah, this kit is very, very rough. Eastern Express's plastic isn't great. I mean, I built a Bladden from them before, and I mean, it's an already struggling kit that becomes worse for that reason alone. There's a lot of flash, and it needs a lot of tidying, to be perfectly honest with you. The detail isn't as bad as I thought, and the overall shape definitely isn't Gannet. The pre-molded pilot heads look a bit odd, particularly because they're just on a flat base, so it's definitely not one for detailers unless you really want to rip it all out and make your own cockpit from scratch, in which case that may be a good exercise. The use of raised and engraved panel lines are present, so again, for the price it's not super great. There are definitely better kits available for the Gannet, and yes, this is about half the price, but this is also the price of other fantastic starter kit sets that would build a much more satisfying model. Again, this may be one just for a weekend or if you're super interested in it. Everything comes loose in the box with this kit, and you can see all the excess plastic between the different parts, and the transparencies are fine. Mine is a bit discoloured, it's got sort of a yellow tinge to it. You can see the greenifying nail still looks okay through it, which is how I tend to test them, but it's not super. This plastic is brittle and rough, and I guess the positives are if you just love the plane and have never done modelling because you're scared you might mess it up on the more expensive kits, it's quite straightforward. You can see in the instructions how simple this kit is. However, I must say I put this one first in for a reason, to set a baseline that we're going to be competing against. The decals are fine, I guess. In fact, it's my feeling on the majority of this kit, it's just fine. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just a mediocre kit for a relatively okay price. And when the Frog kit came out for this, there were loads of reproductions, but now there are so many better moldings of this kit, so is this really needed? It doesn't even include the Indonesian markings that really set some of the other prints apart, so I'm not sure who this kit is for. Now that we've had a look at the Cheap and Cheerful kit, let's have a look at the old rigid and robust Revell kit. This one, as I say, won out against the Trumpeter kit for having a bit more accuracy to it. So that's the one we'll be looking at today. The Trumpeter kit is available for about the same price, so it's sort of this category that I was looking at. So let's have a look at the Revell kit. The reason we don't have the Trumpeter kit is this kit. It's pretty beautiful. Okay, we're not going to compare it to Airfix's new release. That's obviously in a different scale, and if Airfix do decide to release it in 1/72nd, I'm sure I'll compare the two. But for now, this is the standard for the Fairy Gannet in 1/72nd. And I'm praying Airfix do release this so that, Revell have a reason to re-release it, and maybe we'll get like good competition and different decals and markings. But the price for this kit is about standard. Secondhand, for the most part, it sells between £10 to £20, and I'd be happy paying any of those prices, and I got mine for about £12. The aircraft is really beautifully moulded. By far, this is the more accurate than Trumpeters. It doesn't have the straight wingtips for the main rings and tailplanes, instead having a slight and gentle curve to them. The only thing I could see to be an error and find when looking at my research of this kit is potentially the landing gear, which may be slightly too long, but easy fix, right? The decals are varied. Of these, this is a Revell kit, so there's German Navy, the Bundesmarine variant, and there's also the Royal Navy variant. Interestingly, there's no Indonesian or Australian markings, which is a shame, as this could have been an easy one for Revell. Let's hope for an updated reboxing in the future. You can see just how gorgeous this plastic is, and the parts just look so fresh. This kit came out a year later than Trumpeter's version, and I don't think there would have been enough time to make any real revisions at that point, so I think Revell just had more hands-on experience. Obviously, this was something that was used by Germany itself, and that's why it features so prominently on this boxing. Now, this kit has been out of print, I think, for quite a while, but it's not super uncommon. I imagine there may be a bit of a price spike now that the 1/48 Airfix one is out, because there'll be people who look at 1/72nd scale and see this one is sort of like the primary one people build. I may look at the Trumpeter one in the future, but everything I saw online showed that it was in about the same price range, and it just wasn't as good as the Revell version. I wanted to cover different types of Gannet and the different costs of Gannet, and that's ultimately why I went for this one. The instructions are typical Revell. They're not super clear, and they could do with a bit more colour to them, but they're not the worst in the world. Finally, we have the decals. These are okay, and as an older style print, they don't have the red sort of centerpiece of the RAF or Royal Naval roundels in the middle, and unfortunately you have to manually align them. I never find it too hard, but it just adds an extra degree of difficulty, but that tends to be fixed on newer kits, and hopefully it would be in any re-release of this kit. The next kit we're looking at is the Sword kit. This is the airborne early warning version of the Gannet, one that was arguably retired way too early, and it's a bit more of a unique shape, having a slightly different structure because it's got to incorporate all the AEW equipment. I thought this one was just worth looking at because I guess it's going to be one that a lot of people find out about whilst they're looking at the Gannet. So yeah, we'll have a look at the Sword kit. Now, the airborne early warning version of the Gannet is one that is loved for its oddity. It's a very unique shaped aircraft with that giant bulbous bulge on the bottom of it. This is a Sword kit, so it comes with a lot of additional parts. That includes some resin that's bagged separately and some photo etch, also known as my arch nemesis. This kit looks really nice. I've not actually built a Sword kit before, and this is my first time really handling one. And it feels nice, it looks nice, and it seems to be about the right shape and size. I really do think this kit looks nice. The wings were also done relatively well and have the right curvature to them, it seems, so I'm impressed with this kit. Weirdly, Sword have only done the AEW version. I guess they saw a gap in the market against the Revell version, and well, they just did the AEW version, which I guess makes sense, probably as in business sense, but I would have loved to see this as a sort of for a regular Gannet. I know there are some quite key differences between the two structurally, and so there would have been a lot of reworking, but it would have been cool to have a third competitor against Trumpeter and Revell, because I guess I'm ignoring the Eastern Express version at this point. Overall, the detail on this kit is lovely. It seems really well presented. There's not really any work that you need to put into the kit other than assembling it as per the instructions, which, by the way, are better probably than both the other kits I think we've looked at today, potentially. You can see here the photo etch parts, which I never really do. I need to learn how to do better with them, and these are some additional parts that will add extra detail to your model. These are, I believe, resin parts, as they're all bagged separately. Will need a little bit of cleanup, and not the best for the newer modeler, but for anyone who's got any experience, they are not too bad to use. The clear parts are absolutely fine. These are the best of any that we've looked at today. Even compared to the Revell ones, which had a bit more of a sort of brittle plastic, this seems a little bit nicer to handle. It's really clear still as well, so it's nice overall. The decal sheet on this is obviously more modern than the Revell version, so you're not going to have to manually put in the red inside of the white. That is again something that you see in a lot of older kits anyway, so I'm not going to give extra points for that being a thing on the sword kit, but the decals are really nice and they have a lot of vibrancy, and I imagine they'll hold up well. The instructions are, I think they're pretty good actually. They're sort of this exploded view. It's different to Revell and to, I guess, Hella and Affix and everyone. They do have the colour prints at the end as well, which I think is always really important in helping you work out how your aircraft should look exactly. Finally, we're looking at a kit that's a bit different. So it's not a Gannet, it's actually sort of the French equivalent of IBS that. It is the Breguet Elysée, which is a beautiful aircraft. And I figured this was a good video to sort of show alternatives to the Gannet, I guess. If you sort of like the idea of a Gannet, but just wanted to do something a little less mainstream because, you know, you don't do what the popular kids do. So let's have a look at the Breguet Elysée. Of course, it wouldn't be in this modeler video without some French aviation. So here we've got the Breguet 1050 Elysée. I really love this aircraft, and I just wanted an excuse to put it in a video, to be perfectly honest. It's, to me, like the prettier cousin of the Gannet. I think it's a really gorgeous looking aircraft, and there is one that's still flying around at the moment. The shape of this aircraft is quite different to the Gannet. It doesn't quite feel as, I don't know, sluggish or big as the Gannet. It's got a really lovely, like, style to it, I think. Again, this is all personal opinion. The actual kit itself, I think, is really well put together. It's definitely better than the other examples of this kit that are around. Now, this kit is around 15 to 20 pounds, but the only kit available previously to this is a Mach 2 kit, and I can hear you all screaming at the thought of doing that. This kit is much more manageable, and it's not really that badly priced either. The parts are very well detailed and are relatively accurate from the comparisons I've seen online. Even if it wasn't accurate though, other than the Mach 2 kit, it's the only 1/72 scale kit there is, with Hella having released the kit in 1/100th scale and 1/50th scale before alone. And yeah, as I say, we're kind of going to pretend the Mach 2 one doesn't exist, because next to the special hobby version of this release, I mean, it doesn't, there's not really a reason to buy it. It's an interesting kit, and it makes a really nice counterpart to the Gannet. I'm really hoping to see a couple of these on display with the Gannet in future model shows over the next year. Obviously, probably not going to have many 1/48 scale versions of these built, but this kit seems really easily available, and to be honest, I don't think it looks too hard, even for a newer modeler. It definitely makes a unique subject. The decals are less varied. There when, well, it's just French who really used the Elysée, so I chose the one which has like the little shark teeth mouth on the front of it because I thought it was the more unique version of the kit. There are a couple of different pressings out there, but yeah, it's a nice kit. The transparencies are gorgeous on this. Again, I've not really built a special hobby kit before. I think I built maybe one before. These are just really clear, don't have any distortion to them at all. I really like this kit, and honestly, it's getting me really excited. I actually built this originally wanting to have this one built before October, but obviously I took a break from YouTube overall, so this is really high up on my list, and hopefully one you guys want me to see me build as well. The decals are still in a bag, and I'm going to show you these just because I didn't want to take them out of the bag for no reason, but they look really crisp, really colourful, and beautiful. Well, that's it. We looked at 4 kits today. Let me know in the comments which one you think I should build first. I do want to build most of these kits, and I'm curious which one you want to see me either struggle or thrive with, so let me know in the comments below. If you're new to this channel, hi, and make sure to subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so by becoming a channel member. Thank you so much for being here today, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are. Bye! Thank you to all my channel members, and a big thanks goes to the Advanced Kit supporters. That includes Roy Kirpitstein, NJ Banworth, Sprues and Glues, Benjamin Ben, Lorcan Adrian, Serial Chiller, Kaz, Sterry Skyline, Gunner Chan, Simon Farr, Taggers 365, Jeff's Dioramas, Iron Duke, and a big shout out to two of the longest supporters of the channel, Crazy Loacher and Explosive Water. Thank you so much for watching the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to hit subscribe to be kept up to date with new releases. And there's a video there that YouTube has picked out from my catalogue just for you.